Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Less than 2 months after he was re-elected president, Emmanuel Macron has lost control of the French National Assembly following a strong performance by a left alliance and the far right. His main rival, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, said Macron faces total defeat, while far-right leader Marine Le Pen vowed to unite what she called patriots on the left and right. Macron had called on voters to deliver a solid majority, but his centrist coalition lost dozens of seats in an election that has left French politics fragmented. The Prime Minister he had only recently appointed, Elisabeth Borne, said the situation was unprecedented. At least 59 people are known to have died in lightning strikes and landslides triggered by severe monsoon storms in India and Bangladesh. Millions of people have been stranded, while emergency workers have struggled to reach those affected. Forecasters are warning that the flooding is expected to get worse over the next few days. Bangladesh government officials have described the recent flooding as the country's worst since 2004. Unrelenting rains over the last week have inundated vast swathes of the country's northeast region, exacerbated by runoff from heavy downpours across mountains in neighbouring India. Meanwhile, a fire engine has been swept down a flooded road in Guangdong province's Shaoguan city as southern China continues to be pounded by severe storms and flooding. The area was hit by a rare convergence of record rainfall, heat waves and a tornado in the southern city of Guangzhou, displacing millions of people, damaging properties and swamping farmland. The early summer storms have been greater in intensity and more prolonged than usual this year, with precipitation in Guangxi, Guangdong and Fujian at its highest since 1961. Russia's blockade of millions of tons of Ukrainian grain is a real war crime, that's according to the EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell. EU foreign ministers are meeting to discuss the crisis. Western countries have demanded Russia stop blockading Ukraine's Black Sea ports and allow vast stores of grain to reach world markets. The blockade has sparked warnings that tens of millions of people are at risk of famine and has sent food prices soaring. The former mayor of Bogotá and ex-rebel fighter has become Colombia's first left-wing president. Gustavo Petro, a current senator, defeated the right-wing construction magnate Rodolfo Hernández. Figures show he took 50.5% of the vote, defeating his millionaire rival by a close margin of around 700,000 ballots. The result marks a major change for the country, which for decades has been led by moderates and conservatives. Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has called the killings of scores of people horrific and unacceptable, saying restoring peace and security is his government's priority. There is no official figure for the death toll in Saturday's attacks, but some reports suggest it could be more than 100. The Prime Minister is often criticised for failing to deal with the worsening insecurity across Ethiopia. There's been an unprecedented surge in communal violence and ethnic conflicts since he came to power 4 years ago. Tens of thousands of people have gathered in the centre of Brussels to protest against the cost of living. Strikes forced the Brussels airport to cancel all departing flights and halted many bus services across the country. Unions said around 80,000 people had joined the protest. Train services were running partly to allow protesters to converge on the capital. Inflation hit 9% in June in Belgium, mirroring sharp price rises elsewhere. Belgium has handed over the only known remains of the murdered Congolese independence hero Patrice Lumumba to his family during a ceremony in Brussels. Lumumba became the Democratic Republic of Congo's first democratically elected prime minister after independence from Belgium in 1960. His government lasted just 3 months before he was overthrown and assassinated. His body was never found, but one of his teeth was recovered. A Belgian official handed a blue box containing the tooth to members of his family. And finally, footage of Prince William working for a homeless charity unannounced earlier this month has been released. The second in line to the British throne was spotted in early June standing on a Westminster street as a vendor for the Big Issue, which is sold by homeless people in Britain as a way of earning money. He described the work as eye-opening, saying he was committed to highlighting the problem. Charity Crisis estimated that 227,000 British households experienced homelessness during 2021. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.